So welcome everybody back to the channel. Today I'm doing my very first interview. I'll let my participant introduce yourself, tell them where you're from, what your name is.
Hi, my name is AJ. I'm from West Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, nice. My wife is from Connecticut.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So cool, man. What got you into wholesaling? Let's just get straight into it and let's not waste the people's time. What got you into the business?
Well, to be honest, I just found that wholesaling was the easiest way to get into it. I know it's one of the more challenging avenues to take in real estate, but it's the easiest way to get in with no money. I've wanted to get into real estate for quite a while now, and I lack the capital to do so. So I want to get into wholesaling to build that capital, build the funds to put a down payment on, get a nice house, and go forward with that. So that's pretty much what pushed me in the wholesaling direction. I'm not too good with my hands in construction, so I decided to go with a more business route versus a contractor route.
Right, for sure. What made you choose wholesaling over, I guess, being a realtor or something like that?
Well, in my area, your realtor's license can be expensive. And I didn't want to invest all of that money right off the bat if it wasn't something that I was really comfortable doing. I've done sales in the past and, I can do it. I just don't really like to do it. So I like to talk to people, but I don't like to convince them to buy something or sell something that they don't want to buy or sell.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. I mean, a lot of people like sales car, used car salesmen. They're very pushy. They have that persona that people don't want to go into that business. I'm not pushy. I don't want to try to throw business on top of people. You know what I mean? So yeah, I can totally understand where you're coming from with there. And good thing about wholesaling, you can move at your own pace. You don't feel so pressured to make something happen right away. Of course, you want it to happen right away. Who doesn't want to check, within their first 2 weeks of being in the business,
Right. And not to mention too, I found that wholesaling, you can help a lot of people wholesaling. You find people that are in dire need of getting rid of their house or going into foreclosure or whatever the situation may be. And, you can connect with that person. You can help that person, at the same time as getting a check to take home to your family as well. So I feel like it's a win-win situation for everybody. And that's kind of what attracted me to wholesaling.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, man. If I can't make it a win-win for everybody involved, then I kind of just don't want to be involved in it. I've been in situations to where I haven't necessarily made money myself, but like you just mentioned, I was able to help somebody else out of a dire situation they were in. So to me, that was the reward. Okay, I didn't make much money or made any money, but I was able to help this person when nobody else wanted to, So yeah, that's definitely a great benefit. So how long have you been doing it?
Well, I just kind of started marketing myself about last month. I spent the past 6 months, pretty much doing all the analysis and getting into the industry, learning the vocabulary, the strategies, the niches, just the different ways that people do it. I've listened to different kinds of podcasts. I've watched different courses. I've attended seminars. I pretty much just tried to connect with local people in the area. So pretty much, I guess you could say I've only been doing it probably solid for about a month now, reaching out to sellers and talking to sellers and stuff like that.
So within your first month, what have you experienced? Any major setbacks or discouragements where people just cuss you out over the phone? That happens to me almost every day. So
luckily not yet. I have had people pretty much hang up on me, ignore me, kind of just shun me away. But, that's not as discouraging as you would think it would be because, if they're not a motivated seller, they're not a motivated seller, and you can't take this business personal. You can't take a phone call personal because, when you're calling these people, they're sensitive about their situation. They don't want to bring it to the public that they're in a bad situation. So they don't feel comfortable talking to a stranger that, oh yeah, I'm going into foreclosure. My house is, so underwater. I'm in debt. I can't do this. I don't want you to know about that.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of people have pride, when it comes to certain situations, they put their pride before everything else, man. And they'll tell you lie after lie until they feel comfortable with you. Then they'll start opening up, and yeah, I guess it takes good rapport to make that happen, though. A lot of people, they go in there trying to go for the kill within the first 5 minutes. And when it doesn't work out, or they get cussed out, they do get discouraged and they walk away. So I'm glad you're able to stay persistent with, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you haven't got cussed out either.
Not yet anyway. It's like I said, I'm still young, I'm still new. So
yes, sir.
I'm waiting for it.
Cool, man. So you said you were listening to podcasts and watching YouTube videos. Who were some of the people that you were watching?
Well, obviously, I'm sure you know of Bigger Pockets. That's one of the biggest real estate platforms out there right now. I got into them, and I think there's almost 400 episodes out right now, and I'm about at episode 200.
Oh, wow.
I've checked out the real estate podcast, the rookie podcast, and the business podcast. There's also a local Connecticut investor who has his own podcast called Cameron Norfleet. He speaks a lot of truth. He speaks some really good information on real estate, and he's also an agent as well.
Oh, nice.
There's also a investor down in Texas named RJ who does, I think it's called Titanium Investments, who has a podcast as well. So between all of those, that's kind of keeping me busy and keeping me informed.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's a lot of information, but you're feeding your mind with the right things, to make sure you can move forward. That's pretty cool, man. So I guess, you said you've only been active for a month. You spent a few months trying to get the education, which is always good. Have you had any struggles or anything that you feel like you're struggling with that you just can't get over a certain hurdle yet, or have you not run into that problem yet?
Well, I guess I have a hard time connecting with professionals in the industry, not so much like investors or realtors, but attorneys and CPAs. I'm trying to find a good attorney to like build contracts with and CPAs to talk about my tax issues, but no one really wants to talk to me until I have a deal on the table ready to go. So that's kind of been my biggest struggle right now, to get the information from a professional without the actual deal in hand.
Right. So how many attorneys do you think you've reached out to?
I have reached out to 3, one of which was a referral from another realtor. I found a local attorney in West Haven, which is where I'm from, and the last attorney just never answered me. He just
Sounds
never,
about right.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I just wasn't worth his time quite yet,
Yeah. So have you found anyone that is at least knowledgeable of what wholesaling is, or are these people unfamiliar with the process as well?
Yeah, they kind of seem unfamiliar with the specifics. It seems like they've done it before, but they're not really too keen on how it's done. They don't specialize in it, put it that way. They don't specialize it. So I think they kind of get scared off when I say, hey, I want to assign contracts. And they're like, okay, well, that can be kind of sketchy.
Right, yeah.
And I know in Connecticut, they just, I think it was in the past couple of years, they actually made double closing illegal. You cannot double close in Connecticut. So you have to assign the actual contract. Yeah.
Wow. I wonder why they did that. I haven't heard of that. Obviously, I'm small-minded. I'm in my little market. I do everything here. But do you have any idea why they did that, or?
Well, from what I'm seeing is just nationwide, they're realizing that wholesalers are kind of, well, people go into wholesaling because you don't need a license. You don't need to be a licensed realtor to put a contract in. So they're noticing that a lot of people are getting into real estate without a license, and they're trying to push that out. They want you to have a license if you're going to be, trying to connect buyers and sellers. And there's an argument on both sides, like usual with everything. Some people say that, oh, well, we're not connecting buyers and sellers. We're just finding someone to buy this contract.
Right.
So I guess it's just kind of the government kind of saying, hey, stop trying to connect buyers and sellers if you don't have a license. That's illegal. So they're just, if you have a contract and you want to sell that, that's fine, but don't try and, buy this house, sell this house right away.
Right, yeah. Well, that's crazy, man. But I know exactly what you mean about, of course, there's always going to be 2 arguments on the side of things. I'm also a realtor here in North Carolina. And not too long ago, I hope it never takes place because I never went to college, but a lot of realtors were pushing that maybe you should have a bachelor's degree or maybe an associate's degree before you can get your license. And that just blew my mind. I was like, why would you do that? You're making the restrictions even harder. And I guess that's the similar thing going on in your area. They're feeling too many wholesalers are out here brokering deals pretty much, and they're just getting a little offended. It's always somebody I call them the haters. They see us out here able to make the money without having to go through the same things they went through, and they're mad. Well, why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I take that route? So yeah, you're always going to have people, man, hating on us down here, just trying to do our thing and help people out,
That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you said you've been doing a little bit of marketing. What are you currently doing for your marketing? What have you seen some success with? What has brought you no success yet? Well, I mean, you've only been doing it for about a month, so I guess you haven't had too many failures. which is a good thing.
Yeah, I guess that's an optimistic way of looking at it. So, I don't really have any money. So, obviously the yellow letters, the postcards is not an option for me because that could be very expensive for minimal leads.
Yes.
So, I have been doing the cheap route. I got business cards for $20. I've been handing them out to everybody I meet and see on the street.
Nice.
I just bring it up in casual conversation like, hey, I'm getting into real estate. If you know anyone looking to sell their house, here's my card. Give me a call. I've also been just kind of reaching out to sellers on Facebook and Craigslist. If someone has an apartment for sale or a house for sale by owner, I'm shooting them a message like, hey, instead of renting, do you want to sell your property? I see you have a vacancy, you want to get rid of it. That's kind of how I've been doing my marketing plan for right now, the cheap way. I just, I'm about to order some magnets for my car, because that's another cheap way of doing it as well.
Right.
And just kind of see how that goes. I haven't really had any calls through the business cards or the just the actual social interaction, but I have had people kind of contact me back through Facebook and Craigslist saying, yes, I am interested in selling my property. And, we've kind of been in contact. I actually had an appointment this morning to go see a house.
Nice.
But I hop in my car, start it up, and he texts me that he has to reschedule.
Oh my God.
So yeah, yes, he says that his wife's got to go to work. He's got to take care of the kids, so he's not going to be at the property.
Man,
so
I was needing you to come to the interview with a success story right now.
I know. I was looking forward to it too.
That would have been awesome, man.
So that was a little discouraging, but he still wants to reschedule. He's still motivated, and that felt good. But so right now, I guess one marketing strategy isn't really working over the other right now.
Right, got you. Well, that's exactly how I got started, though. Craigslist, reaching out to people with rental properties, got my first contract. Happened pretty fast, but I didn't run numbers right. Things fell apart. No need to go into my story, but it was pretty bad, in the end. But you're jumping out there, you're taking action, and that's the first step. You got to take action. So many people get caught up in trying to learn that they just forget to take action. They know everything about the business, could tell you all the terms and everything, but never did anything in it. So that's awesome that you're actually getting out there making things happen, man. Kind of forgot my question. Where was I going with that? Jesus.
Well, I'll just go with, another thing too is, I learn by hands-on experience. I don't really learn by reading a book. If I read a book, it's pretty much going to go in one side and out the other. I don't really retain information when I read it. So the best way for me to learn is through the experience, through the cold calling, through the actual physical interaction with people, getting out there and doing it. So I feel like a lot of people struggle with that. They're too nervous to pick up the phone and actually call a seller. Because they're afraid of getting hung up on or saying, hey, go screw yourself,
Right.
So I think, if you could just conquer that, I feel like it'll be a lot easier and you'll feel more comfortable, through time.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So you say you're getting the magnet for the car. So of course you're obviously on the roads. Have you done any driving for dollars?
Not yet, because due to this whole pandemic right now, I'm not really kind of like, I have a hard time looking up let's say accurate information online to get accurate phone numbers to call these people. So I have a strategy. I want to go door knocking. That's kind of what my thing is going to be. But, I'm afraid of doing that through this pandemic because, no one's going to want to, be anywhere near me or let me into their house or whatever like that. So I'm kind of waiting for this to die down a little bit before I start going out and doing that.
Yeah, for sure, man. So you say you're having a little struggles when it comes to finding the accurate information. What routes are you using in order to try to bring up the information for the sellers?
I'm pretty much doing, I go onto my local assessor's page to get the property owner's information. I get their name, their address and stuff like that. And then I do the skip tracing, the free skip tracing to try and get their phone numbers. But as I'm sure it's very inaccurate information. I tested on myself and my family, and they don't have any accurate information out there. So,
right, yeah.
And you get a list of phone numbers, but you're not sure which one it is or if it's even active anymore.
What are you using for your skip tracing?
I use truepeoplesearch.com.
My website, man.
Yeah, fastpeoplesearch.com. Those are the two that I've really been using.
Yeah, like you said, it is kind of hit or miss. One thing I have noticed with True People Search, when you're looking up the information, and this isn't always true, but if a wireless number is at the top of the list, I will put maybe 7 times out of 10, that's the right phone. Just from my experience, I've been using it for years because I am cheap still. But I just feel that, especially when it's a one-off, maybe 2 or 3 properties, I'm just trying to look up real quick. I'll use that. And like I said, if I see a wireless number at the top, it's pretty much a guarantee that I'm going to get in contact with that person. You said you've already been using Facebook, so obviously, that's a great source. When I find people with difficult last names, I love going to Facebook because, usually if you find them on there, that's the right person. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
One thing I do like about True People Search is they offer possible relatives or, other known names. And it may be tedious, but sometimes I have to go there, click through all the names. I eventually may find a right phone number for someone who may know that person. Like I said, it could be very tedious. Spend a lot of time calling a lot of random people for no information, but all you need is that one yes for it all to pay off.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. So, okay. In your first month, you said you haven't really done too many other marketing things besides, the Facebook and the Craigslist, which is awesome. Have you gotten close yet? Have you gotten, besides the guy you had an appointment today, was that been your first appointment or no?
That would have been my first appointment, yes. I did have another person reach out to me through one of my messages saying that, I was like, hey, are you interested in selling? And she said, well, actually, we will be listing it soon. So I asked her, well, what are you looking for? What kind of price are you looking for? And when are you looking to get it out? The next day, she just sends me a number. She's like, here's the number. You want it, it's yours.
Oh, wow.
The number was fairly high. It was a little bit under the appraised value online, but I feel like it would be a fair deal. So I'm going to follow up with that and pursue that a little further as well in the upcoming days.
Gotcha. Now, you said it was a little above the estimated value online?
A little below, just a little below.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
What are you using to, I guess, try to run your comps?
Running my comps right now, I kind of just use Zillow.
Gotcha.
Zillow seems to be the most effective platform in my area. I open up Zillow and almost every property in my area has a comp to run, so that's what I've been using.
Oh yeah, that's always a good thing, man. Over the years, I've tried to cultivate a little idea of taking maybe the 3 top sites and putting them all together to get a basis, because I learned last night, I was trying to record another video. These sites can be very different from one another. I was pulling up properties that I've actually sold, and on one site it's 150, another site is 102, and then another site is like 89. I'm like, where the hell are you getting these numbers from? It doesn't make any sense.
Right. I use the actual tax assessor, the New Haven County tax assessor's office, and Zillow in a combination of that. So
yes, sir.
Between the two of them, I feel like that's been working out for a pretty accurate estimate.
Right. Now you may know this, and this again isn't always the case, but a lot of properties sell between 20 to 30% of their tax value. So another little curve I've been trying to do is I'll take whatever the tax value is, I'll add in 20%, I'll add in 30% just to get an idea of where they think I should be. And then I'll go check things like you just said, like Zillow, and compare the two. But I'm also a realtor, so I do have the MLS. So obviously, you just jump on there, you pull everything. But I try to find ways, okay, if I didn't have MLS access, what would I do? What would be my options? And yeah, man, I think you're definitely on the right course trying to run the comps the way, you're able to. Not always going to be the most accurate. Zillow will tell you that they're not the most accurate, but what you're doing is getting a general idea. I know a lot of people jump on Zillow and they'll pull up comps from like 5 miles away, and there's no way you can use that for a comp. That's a whole different part of the city. But yeah, man, it sounds like you definitely have the knowledge has paid off. You spent 6 months trying to learn, and here you are now. You've only been active for a month, but it seems like you definitely have a good grasp on things, man, and that's definitely part of the struggle.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So you said that you wanted to jump into wholesaling because it was the quickest way to get started. I know I'm going way back to the beginning of the interview, but what are your ultimate goals for, I guess, real estate, period?
Buy and hold is going to be my strategy. I want to build a portfolio of of apartment complexes. I want to get to the large apartment complexes down the line, but starting out, I want to build a small portfolio of single family homes. Because especially here in Connecticut, people take pride in ownership in Connecticut. They love the single family homes. So I want to kind of focus on that and then slowly move into small apartments, the 2, 3, 4 plexes, and then eventually get into the big 50 to 100 unit apartment complexes. So residential buy and hold is going to be my strategy. And like I said, I just want a big portfolio of that. And essentially one day I would like to run a business managing that portfolio.
That's pretty awesome right there, man. You definitely have plans, man. Yeah, I have goals, and that's another thing. A lot of people, they jump into business with no pure goals or any intentions. They just want to see what they can do. The fact that you actually have a line that you're trying to follow is also pretty awesome, man. Because hey, I get this capital, I take this capital, and I put it into this business venture. Is going to get me where I need to be ultimately. You also said that you're just trying wholesaling because it was something easy to get into without putting up much money. That's why you kind of steered away from the realtor thing. You think that might be something you'll double back across and maybe get your license one day, or?
Well, a part of me kind of wants to just take the course just for the knowledge.
Right.
I don't even necessarily want to pay the money for the license every year. I just kind of want to take the course just to understand the process of, the home buying purchases and, the overall field. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Because like I said, I know there's tons of people in this industry that don't have a license. You don't need a license, so I feel like, especially if I'm going to be targeting, people in distress, people that, need to get out of their homes, going onto the MLS and going on to people that are listing their homes with realtors, that's not really going to help me. So just understanding the industry and just being able to connect with people, I feel like will be enough.
Right, for sure. Now, don't get me wrong. You can find some deals on the MLS, man. They're up there all day, every day, man. I used to work for a firm, and the guy that I was working for, he was snatching up 1 or 2 deals, maybe a week off the MLS, because a lot of people, I can't say a lot of people, there are still sellers that believe a realtor is their only option. They don't know
Right.
There's people like you and I, so I do understand what you're saying. It is costly. The knowledge would definitely pay for itself, but maybe if you found somebody who does have MLS access, I know they could set you up with certain searches to where you can just receive properties in your inbox every day, if it meets a certain criteria. Although these are listed, if you can find the right agent to work with, somebody such as myself, although I'm not in your area, but a realtor such as myself, you can build that relationship, man, and it could be killer. It could be a game changer for sure, man. For sure. And same thing with your the attorney issue. Have you gone to any of the Facebook groups and asked any of them who they're using? I'm sure there's somebody in your area killing it.
Oh yeah, I have. And like I said, the one that everybody recommended was the one that never answered me and got back to me. And actually back to that, I think I said I reached out to about 3 attorneys. There was actually a 4th one that I did reach out to, and he got back to me and said that he's actually retiring in a month. So yep,
Wow.
that's it. That was my reaction as well. So I actually asked him, well, if you're going to retire, do you have any, close colleagues that you could refer me to? Yeah. And he just never got back to me.
Oh my God.
So I feel like he's already out the door. He's already waiting to get out of here.
Yeah, man. Boxes are packed and he's gone, man.
Exactly.
That's something similar happened to me with our very first deal that I closed. We closed on it. He was supposedly one of the best attorneys in town. It's like, man, this is awesome. I met with him for free. He sat down, went over my contracts with me. I said, man, this is awesome. Closed the deal. Maybe a week later, he retired. No longer wanted to do residential real estate. I said, you can't be serious, man. So had to start everything back over again, man. I've been doing this for about 10 years. So I didn't have the pleasure of just jumping in groups and asking people. It was a lot of calling people and just, what is wholesaling? No, I'm sorry. That's illegal. You're out of your mind. So, yeah, man, I hated dealing with those type of conversations, but it led me to the people that I work with now. I have a handful of attorneys that I know I can give a call, and as long as their schedule is clear, man, they can make the closing happening. I guess it's just part of building up that database to where you do have those type of relationships with people.
Yep, I agree.
I felt like I had so much more questions to ask, but time has just been flying over here, man. And you seem to be on top of things. I was hoping you were going to come up here with a million questions struggling, but no, man, you've actually done your game, your research, and you're on top of it, man. That's awesome. The fact that you're taking action, very impressive. A lot of people don't do it, or they get discouraged and they drop out so soon, man. So that's pretty cool. You seem pretty young, so it seems like you're going to have a long career ahead of you as well.
Yeah, I'm 26, so
Nice.
Just starting out. I figure now's the perfect time,
Yes, sir, absolutely, man. You're old enough to where they don't take you as a joke. Oh, you're such a baby. You can't be buying real estate.
Well, I look like a baby, so
yeah, you have the baby look. That's a good thing going for you. Yeah.
Part of me wants to get a partner just to look older,
I know what you mean, man. I know for sure. But there's this guy in my market, man. He's a young guy out here. I think he maybe just turned 20, 21. Killing it, bro. Killing it. And
yeah, you see, I wish I got into this when I was 20, 21. I feel like just that 5 years ago would have been a big help.
Absolutely. I think we all wish. I'm 36, and I just wish I would have started maybe a long time ago, 15, 20 years ago would have been awesome. You know, fresh out of high school, making it happen. But hey, we all go our own course and we're here now. So we're going to take advantage of it and definitely turn it into something, man. The news is saying there's going to be another housing crisis. I hope not. But if there is, it's where we will flourish. It's where we will find the most opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
it's time to capitalize for sure.
absolutely. You know, what's the phrase? Never let a good crisis go to waste.
Yep,
What we're in right
exactly.
now. You know what I mean?
And what's that? What's Warren Buffett's quote? You know, be fearful when people are greedy, and be greedy when people are fearful.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Awesome, man. Well, look, I appreciate your time today. I may have not been the best host, but you're my first interview, man, and I appreciate that. Thank you for being my tribe.
It was definitely an honor to be invited to this, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, I hope we stay in contact, man. I look forward to following up with you with another interview with your first success story. That's going to be awesome.
Oh,
and
for
hopefully
sure.
you'll be here with that guy that you were supposed to go on your appointment with today, man. Hopefully he'll call you back in a day or two like, man, AJ, I need you now, bro. Come over. Buy this house.
I hope so, man. I really hope so.
Yeah, man. Definitely, man. So until next time, brother, wishing you much success. I know you'll get it. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. But it sounds like you have a hold on everything, man. You don't need me, brother. But if you happen to, I'm definitely here, man. You know, we have communities on Facebook. A lot of people are there to show support and give advice whenever they can. So anything you need, man, I'm here to definitely help. And I thank you for your time today, man. Thank you for being my first.
Perfect, man. Well, thank you. Thanks a lot, man.
Absolutely, brother. Enjoy your day.
You too.
Thank you, man. Bye.